does the recent snow have to do with this year's flooding rains? Well, I'm glad you asked. The first snow of the year can bring joy, whether you're a dog or a person.
You're about to be introduced to something called blocking.
Australia needs very special weather patterns to get decent snow, but this year we got it in spades. One of the big drivers of the snow was a weather feature called a blocking high.
So here we have it. One of the big drivers of the snow was a weather feature called a blocking high. Now let's just jump forward and cheat and go to the tail end of this beautiful 3 minutes.
Destroyed by fire. In the wake of the disaster, some climatologists argued that climate change was making blocking events like the Canada heatwave more frequent.
Some climatologists were saying that the blocking events were becoming a bit more frequent.
The idea is that a warming Arctic was making the Northern Hemisphere jet stream wavier and more meandering, leading to more blocking events. Other scientists argue that climate models struggle to represent blocking systems well, so
Other scientists have said they're having a lot of trouble seeing anything and they don't really know how they might behave in the future.
we really don't know yet how they might behave in the future. In fact, some models are even suggesting a decrease in blocking.
So there we have it again. We have all three, don't we? We have some saying it's going to increase, some are saying that they're on the decrease, and some are saying, hey, dude, I cannot see any blocking going on. I do not know what you're talking about. So let's just go back.
H, just underneath Australia. Notice how it hardly moves day after day. That's a blocking high. It's like a traffic jam where weather systems just can't move on.
So something that some scientists say, I'm not sure that this even exists. Others are saying it could be on the decrease, and others are saying might be on the increase.
Blocking highs can act like weather amplifiers, allowing snow or rain or even heat to build up and up and up, with at times disastrous consequences.
Something that doesn't exist could be increasing or decreasing. Heat builds up, disastrous consequences.
In February this year, a blocking high pressure system settled between Australia and New Zealand.
You know that thing, that blocking thing that some say might not even exist? This one settled between Australia and New Zealand.
That's it, just here. Not long after, an atmospheric river formed off the Queensland coast, funneling tropical moisture from New Caledonia right over the Queensland-New South Wales border region.
The blocking thing did that. You know that thing that they're not even sure if it exists, if it's increasing or if it's decreasing.
The blocking high prevented the weather from moving out to sea as it otherwise might have done. And as we saw, that led to multi-day rainfall that just didn't stop, and of course, devastating floods. Blocked weather systems aren't always disastrous.
So these things that may or may not exist, they aren't always disastrous.
Cold, wet weather in the east has led to one of the best starts to the ski season in decades. And southwest Western Australia could do with some rain. But blocked weather doesn't only bring rain.
You know that thing that might or might not exist, doesn't always bring rain.
In January 2019, a blocking high set in off Australia's east coast. Instead of rain, the high pressure system brought a record-breaking heat wave.
So this blocking thing, device, whatever you want to call it, that we're not too sure if it exists, instead of bringing rain, this time it brought a heat wave.
Winds came off the interior of the continent that were hot and dry, sitting there for days at a time. The blocking high on top of global warming,
You know that global warming that...
led to heat records around the country being smashed.
The mercury is expected to soar to 47 in Ivanhoe, Menindee and Wilcannia and 46 in Berg.
It could be that blocking thing, but we're not too sure it exists or not yet. Actually, it could be on the increase or it could be on the decrease. You know what? We're not sure.
And blocked weather doesn't just impact Australia. Last year, a high pressure system stalled over Canada, in a distinctive U-shaped pattern called an omega block.
So this thing that may or may not exist, that could be on the increase or the decrease, has a name, an omega. It's an omega block now.
Again, heat built up and up, day after day. On the 29th of June, the temperature in Lytton, British Columbia, hit 49.6 degrees Celsius, the highest temperature ever recorded in Canada. Shortly after, the town was destroyed by
The blocking event, look, that may or may not exist. The town was destroyed by fire.
fire. In the wake of the disaster, some climatologists argued that climate change was making blocking events like the Canada heatwave more frequent. The idea is that a warming Arctic was making the Northern Hemisphere jet stream wavier and more meandering, leading to more blocking events. Other scientists argue that climate models struggle to represent blocking systems well, so we really don't know yet how they might behave in the future.
Can't represent them well? Not too sure how they're going to act in the future? If they don't exist, pretty tough gig.
In fact, some models are even suggesting a decrease in blocking. Because of these recent extreme events that we've seen, especially the flooding in February and March of this year, blocking is a very hot area of climate research.
Blocking is a very hot area of climate research right now. Who would be surprised?
Right now.